Okay, so today I'm going to tell you a story from my own life. I actually grew up in Germany for the most part, but in between, for about 3 years, we lived in Sydney. And during that time, my dad often had cleaning jobs at night. And one night when my brother and I couldn't sleep, we went with my dad to his work. So we were living in Darlinghurst at the time. His work was in Surrey Hills, pretty close, so we walked. And walking down main streets, back streets, and on one particular back street, this guy was walking towards us. So I was about 9 at the time, my brother was 10. Can't remember all the details exactly, but this guy was walking towards us, medium height, pretty skinny. He was carrying a plastic bag. And when he passed us, so he was behind us now, my dad turned to my brother and goes, "Turn around and see what he's doing." So he did. And he said, "You turn around again, he's following us now." So just quickly in between, what do you think you would have done? Keep in mind that my dad did have a suspicion that something was wrong. So what would you have done? Would you have even turned around, or would you have just hoped that everything would have been fine? So my dad pulls out his little Swiss Army knife, opens it up, turns around, looks at the guy and just holds it up like that. And the guy immediately turns around and runs away. Now my dad was like, "Man, this guy's up to something." Right? So what we actually did was we looked for a weapon, like a stick or something, and we followed the guy to the main street, Oxford Street. We caught up with him, kind of cornered him somewhere, and my dad was going to just wait here. We're going to call the cops, and we're going to sort this out. Keep in mind at the time there's no mobile phones. Yeah, this is in the 80s. And the guy kind of just got out and ran away. Yeah. Now, just to get that out of the way, I don't recommend you do that, right? My dad's a little bit crazy in that regard, right? So you don't have to follow someone after something potentially happens. Keep in mind, nothing has actually happened. Yeah, so my dad was only acting on a suspicion. But regardless of following him, what do you think of my dad's action of pulling out a knife? Do you think it was too extreme? I'm not actually here to tell you what the exact right action is. What I am telling you is that an intuition, like my dad's suspicion, requires action. What action depends on the situation and on the person. You also don't have to figure out straight away what ultimate action you have to take, like pulling out a knife or running away or whatever it is. But what you need to do is acknowledge the intuition, which in this case just involves turning around and checking out the situation. But that way, you can either relax straight away because the intuition was unfounded, or you can make a more educated decision of what to do next. Well, you don't actually even know if the decision my dad made was educated, because nothing had actually happened, right? Well, this is what did happen. 3 days later, my brother and I got up to go to school. My dad was already up making breakfast, listening to the radio as always, and there'd been a breaking news story. There have been 5 stabbings in King's Cross overnight. King's Cross is the red light district in Sydney, and really close to Darlinghurst and Surrey Hills. There have been 5 stabbings in different instances, and the last one was fatal, so the last one died. Now, that gave a description of the killer, and my dad was, "Man, that really sounds like that guy from the other day." A few days later, they caught him, and it was the same guy. So potentially, we did avoid being stabbed or even killed. Okay, let's have a look at the situation for a second here. The killer was a heroin addict who needed money for a fix. And he was obviously willing to do whatever it takes to get it. Even though there was 3 of us, that obviously didn't deter him because 2 of us were very small. And even though my dad was bigger than him, obviously also not, I guess because he had a knife. So we've got a potential attacker who's willing, able, and ready to kill. But it only took a very small action, my dad pulling out his knife, to change his mind. Now, if anyone can pull that off, it's a different story, but the action was very small. What I want you to understand there is, it didn't matter so much about my dad pulling out his knife. The important factor was that action was taken. Any action. Think about it. Even the simple act of turning around to assess the situation immediately makes you a harder target. The worst action is always inaction. Remember that 4 or 5 people got stabbed by the same guy because they didn't take action or took action too late. I can't speak for them 100%, but it's very likely that they had a bad feeling that something was going to happen. It's usually the case. That's it for today. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.